Hi everyone. Let's wait for others to join as well. Hi everyone. Welcome to our live session. I'm Harleen Kaur from the marketing team at AdYogi, and we're excited to have you for our second live session. Today, we continue our journey of sharing industry tips and strategies in real time. So, joining us today is Alicia Rathor, Assistant Manager Marketplace at AdYogi. Over to you.
Hi, Harleen. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us in the live session today. We're looking forward to bringing great insights for you. I'm pretty myself excited about the session. To give you a brief about me, I am Alicia. I work as an assistant manager at AdYogi. I've spent around 4 to 5 years in digital space, and I work with brands across different scales and categories. And the combined objective being growth, essentially, right? Yeah, that's about me. Let's get started.
Sure. So, Alicia, like Amazon has just now teased its biggest sale of the year, the Great Indian Festival, and it is one of the most anticipated shopping events in India, which provides its customers with exclusive deals, discounts, and offers across a wide range of products. So, in today's live session, we'll be delving deeper into behind the scenes of the doings of this massive sale event, the planning process, the strategies, the challenges, and triumphs that are involved in making this sale event a huge success. So I'm also pleased to announce to our audience that Adyogi is hosting a webinar in collaboration with Amazon, decoding the Great Indian Festival and the strategies involved on 17th September, 3 p.m. onward, 3:30 p.m. onwards. So everyone can register for that webinar and gain exclusive insights from the Amazon experts, where they talk about the consumer behavior and cultural nuances and how they influence the marketplace events. So our audience can register for the webinar through the link in the pinned comment. And for more such updates, you can follow our socials and stay tuned for more. So, Alicia, my first question to you is in one of our spotlight recordings with Abhi Sharma, we discussed the strategies and the plannings around Amazon Prime Day sale. So, given your expertise and experience, can you like shed some light on how the Great Indian Festival differs from the Prime Day sale?
Sure. So if you look at Great Indian Festival sale, it's the biggest sale event on Amazon. In fact, we have seen most of the brands meeting their majority annual sale targets, especially on GIF. Right, it's a 30-day long event, usually commencing 30 days before Diwali. Right, and the objective of the event is to capitalize on the huge festive buying intent of the Indian consumers. Right, the event is divided into four stages. It being a 30-day event, it has four waves. Wave one being the highest, wherein you will see ample amount of traffic, ample amount of conversions, and a lot of brands coming with different amount of unique propositions. Right, that increases the overall amount of conversions on the platform. This followed by wave 3 and 4 are huge after this, when we've seen the traffic picks up again and the conversion rate also begins to jump. right? If you compare this with Prime Day is relatively a shorter duration event. For instance, it's a 3 day long event, inclusive of a day long early access, right? So the brands would generally get a shorter duration to run that scale and to win on those offers and buying intent. At the same time, Prime Day is for prime customers of Prime Day, right? While GIF's intent is to capitalize on the festive buying behavior, right? So that's the major difference. Oh, but not to say, I think Prime Day is again the second highest event on Amazon, and we've seen all kinds of brands performing really well.
So, like you mentioned, that the Great Indian Festival is like the biggest sale event of India, and it helps the brands, boost the brand visibility, and it is a time when brands are able to achieve major of their annual sales targets. So, given that fact, what is the overall mindset and approach that the e-commerce brands should have leading up to the sale? So, like, are there any targets or the goals which are set for the event?
Right. So that's a pretty interesting question, and that's a very relevant question. I must say that for any event to be bigger on Amazon or any marketplace platform, there's a pre-planning that comes along. You need to attach that outcome to an event that you're choosing. For instance, I've seen a lot of brands bringing in a new product during event to get on, that reach and visibility. A lot of brands also capitalize on their existing hero products. They try and scale them to next level, right? So maybe the first step is to identify what is that objective for the brand, and then divide it into three different stages. For instance, GIF itself can be divided into pre-stage, pre-event, during event, post-event strategy. Depending on what metric, maybe it could be sales for you, maybe it could be reach for you. Depending on what that particular metric for you is, you can have some pre-event strategy in place. For instance, you might want, for instance, there's a new product coming in place, right? So you might want to build some buzz about it. Then you would want to do certain off Amazon and on Amazon activities, wherein you might want to do category level integrations with Amazon. You might want to run certain display ads. You might want to run notify me campaigns, right? So all of that would fall into pre-stage planning, because that's when the major amount of prospecting happens. While during the event, you just might want your offers to be live. You want to ensure maximum visibility on the targets that are converting well for you, and maybe even the competition that is super super relevant to you, right? While post the event, you might mostly look at remarketing to the audience who might have added to the cart but who have not completed the purchase. So it's very important. I would recommend every brand to have the planning started at least 3 to 5 weeks before the event. Decide that North Star metric, and I think then that's when the entire things come into picture.
Correct. So, like now that we know that the Great Indian Festival has an immense popularity amongst the masses, be it like small scale brand or larger brands. So, how does this Great Indian Festival provide opportunities for small scale brands to compete with larger brands when it comes to increasing the brand visibility or maybe generate more sales or a lot more than that?
True. So I've often heard small brands saying that they are not able to make out of GIF a lot. But then I think a GIF is an event for all kinds of brands, right? Be it a small brand, be it a renowned brand. All of them I've seen they've done great numbers. While we see bigger brands doing majority of their annual sale targets on GIF, we've also seen smaller brands delivering an all-time high numbers that given that year, right? So I feel if you look at the stats populated by Amazon, you'll also see that the new to brand acquisition during GIF goes up by 30-35%, right? That's because a lot of customers are not only, they don't really have that stickiness to a particular category or to the brand. They're open to explore, especially since the momentum is around gifting. They do explore around gifting categories, a lot of combos, bulk buying, all of that happens, right? So this particular period can be used by smaller brands to cross sell and upsell their products. Given the amount of traffic on the platform rises by 3 to 4x, it becomes very easier for these brands to gain up that visibility, and also to scale up their already existing hero products. In fact, I feel one of our brand recently joined us, especially during I think Prime Day. They've seen a jump of around 2 to 2.56 in their overall revenue for a very niche category which they were hardly promoting, right? So all of these sales, they have the impact in such a way, right? At the same time, I feel for brands which are looking to build some efficiency, they can also introduce higher AOV products. For instance, there's a perfume set of one that is working really well for you. You can create a combo of four and promote that, right? Given the offers are great, the buying intent is great, people use like generally end up buying that combo, and your overall efficiency should also improve, right? Yeah.
Right. Understood. So, moving forward, like we know that the Amazon Green Indian Festival has provided a lot of opportunities to all kinds of brands to increase their brand visibility, or help generate more sales. But how can e-commerce brands prioritize customer experience? Like, what are the steps that can be taken to ensure a smooth checkout process, or be it timely deliveries and effective customer support, especially when when you take such a big sale in consideration.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I think all the hygiene factors, right, are very relevant during GIF, because a lot of customers who would be potential customers who would be visiting your PDPs need to see everything in place. For instance, we have seen a lot of times the brands don't have their inventory in place. They don't have the stock inwards in warehouses in the right time, because of which the delivery timelines during the sale is very extended, and the competition wins over their market share. So, as I said, 3 to 4 weeks in advance planning is definitely recommended. Ensure that your hero and the best selling products are always in stock, and the most selling products are there in the majority of the warehouses. You could definitely try FBA model if you haven't tried yet, right? The delivery timelines would be better. You could also improvise your overall listing experience. For instance, if there are any new launches and you haven't got enough time to prep up the listing, this is the time you need to ensure that all your descriptions are in place, all your headlines are in place, all your backend keywords are in place, so that organic visibility is not an issue, right? At the same time, what we generally recommend to the brands is, please ensure all your ratings and reviews are in place. Since a lot of new acquisition happens this time, it's very important for the customers to know from the existing customers of that product, right? So if you're able to fetch those 4-star ratings, those unique reviews, that would help get more conversions. At the same time, Amazon also helps with unique interfaces. For instance, they've launched premium 8 plus content recently, so you can definitely upgrade to it. That would give an entire different lift to your listing on Amazon, right? You could have an FAQ section dedicated, wherein maybe if it's a technical product, a customer wants to understand more about the functioning of the product, all of that can be done easily, right? Have all the relevant Q&As in place. In fact, all the images related to the product should be in place. If the product is a little a little technical in nature or a little UGC oriented, it's very important to have a descriptive video of that product, so that before making that buying decision, a customer is fully informed about the functionality of the product, the usage, and everything. Right. Apart from this, I think you could do something different from Prime customers. They are always on lookout for a special discount, right? So those customers are given an early access. So that's one day of early access could give good momentum to the overall sales, right?
So, Alicia, is there any difference that the small scale brands might face in comparison to a large scale brand when it comes to such a huge sale? Again, coming back to the previous question, like with regards to the timely deliveries or the kind of customer support they offer, I'm pretty sure the larger brands must be well equipped with, such strategies in place. So, kind of how do small scale brands, bring themselves to that level when it comes to such type of sale?
Sure. See, having a listing in place is something that both a small scale and large scale brand will have to do. And I think the kind of interface that Amazon provides is similar to both the brands, right? So maybe if there are any challenges, there are a lot of growth partners available in the ecosystem. Outsource this job to them because they're pretty smart in identifying those unique keywords for you. However, the job is also very easy. You can also log into your seller central or your vendor central account and quickly edit those listings, right? Apart from this, I think an FAQ section is very relevant. If you cannot have a 24 into 7 customer support, have that FAQ part ready, wherein whatever customer queries you usually hear, a prompt response to those should be available. Right. Apart from that, I think a very proactive engagement in terms of your reviews and ratings has to be there. For instance, a customer bought something and you got a negative review the next day. Maybe a proper explanation of the problem, or maybe proper addressal to the questions could be there. These are a few little 3 to 4 hacks that are easily doable by small scale brands. I think the only difference there is proactiveness. Right.
Right. So, my last question for you, Alicia, is that e-commerce business is a numbers game. So, how can brands evaluate the success of the sale event? Like, are there any key metrics that can be tracked to, assess the same?
Right. So I'll divide this question into two parts. One is how do we decide that key metric, and second is how do so basically the Harleen's question that what that SAR matrix is the event is successful. So a lot of times, I think. We're not able to decide that sale number. If I'm able to do say 50 lakhs of sale or 100 lakh of sale, is that making sense to me? So I feel you could always look at the category trends, right? A category grows at a certain level year on year or on month, and especially from one GIF to another, right? This data is pretty much available from Pi and can also be taken from the categories box of your different categories, right? That will help you understand that okay, category is increasing at X level, and this is in variation to the category. I can also say scale at X amount of scale, right? That is one metric. Second is you could also look at your annual plan, right? Maybe you're doing a 5 CR number this year, and a majority of that could come during this part, right? You could also study the competition success rate. For instance, how is the audience in that particular segment rising on Amazon? Right, and what part of that audience are you capturing? Is there sufficient space for you to penetrate further, right? Once you figure out that number, I feel total sales is one that becomes a majority of success metric for the brand. But other metrics that you could look at and will definitely be a contributing factor to success will include new to brand customers. Definitely look at what kind of acquisitions you have made across the sale. We often recommend a lot of brands to scale even if the a cost is 1 to 2% higher, because we know a lot of acquisition is going to happen in this particular month, and we're going to see a benefit of that in the coming month in your retargeting funnel or on your bottom funnel, right? At the same time, you could also look at your glance views. So during sales, you'll see an amplified impact or amplified footfall on your PDPs, right? Have your glance views increased in coordination with your GVs or not, right? You could also follow up this with CTRs, right? So all of this, I think, could become a directionally success evaluating parameters for you. Yeah.
So, Alicia, thank you so much for sharing such invaluable insights on Amazon Great Indian Festival and the strategies and the planning involved for the same. I'm sure this has given a lot of actionable tips to our audience to help their brands scale up and increase the visibility and generate more sales. So, and we've already covered a lot of ground, but I'm sure our audience still has a lot of questions. So, I'm just going to read them out for you so we can take
Sure.
that up. Yeah.
Sure.
The first question is, what should e-commerce brands focus on as they prepare for the Great Indian Festival?
Sure. So honestly, focus on planning. Ensure the inventory that you want to sell is in place. Ensure the front end to sell that inventory is in place, which means you're listing. Ensure all the inwards have been made to right places. Ensure that you talking to the category team well in advance so that you can crack on those offers and deals, right? A lot of times we've seen that while the event goes live, a lot of brands don't get deals and offers, right? Maybe because the conversation has not been enough or there's something been missing, right? And since the majority of the competition is on offers that time, you might not lose out on the buying intent, right? So that is something to be looked out on. I would also recommend do study your competition well in advance, right? You could look at the trend last year. You could understand what kind of offers are prevalent in the category, right? Use those event specific deal tags, right? Have those backup offers ready in case the competition goes on too aggressive, right? Always evaluate your total sales numbers. A lot of times we've seen the brands would define their scale or spends on search basis how is their ad revenue for moving. While if you look at your total sales at that time, you'll see your definite impact in your total sales. So I feel that ad sales at that point might be a very narrow metric to look at. Always evaluate your total sales. If your total sales are moving in the great direction, please continue scaling. Right.
So the next question that we have is, what should e-commerce brands focus on as they prepare on the Great Indian Festival, and like what are the key metrics that the brands track, to make the festive season success?
Sure. I think one is that you should look at, given the kind of target that you're chasing, what amount of glance views do you really need to capture that? For instance, if in a BAU month, if you're doing 10,000 orders and say glance view of 1K, and if you want to double fold those orders, you need at least 2 to 2.5K of glance views, right? What amount of budget would you need for that? Right now, if you want to scale up to that level, what proportion of that money should go to your hero products, right? A lot of times you've seen brands bifurcate their scale into products that are not even doing well. So understand your product mix, understand the buying behavior of customer. For instance, you'll see that GIF is a great time for curating packages and buying gifting related products. So if you're a brand, say you're a beauty brand or maybe you're a home decor brand, then you can come up with such combos. Definitely focus on them because the buying intent is going to be there, and I feel the overall AOV is also going to be slightly higher, right?
If anyone has any more questions, you can write them in the comment section, and we'll take them up for you. Alicia, I think that's all from the audience's end. So, thank you so much again for joining us today. And I'd just like to tell the audience one more time that Adyogi is hosting a webinar in collaboration with Amazon on 17th September, 3:30 p.m. onwards. And the Amazon experts are going to shed some light on the Great Indian Festival, the strategies involved around the same, and how the consumer behavior and cultural nuances impact the marketplace events. So, everyone can register for the webinar on the link in the pinned comment section. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you. Thank you, Eddie.